Hi guys, welcome to another video of Vibing with Via. It's 2022 and of course, you know, we still gonna go hard, at the cooking thing, still gonna come up with different techniques of preparing food. And so guess what guys, today I'm going to be making a fish recipe. I have some over here that is still draining and I have some here. So on my board here you'll see that I have some this is called snapper and this is sliced snapper. Now to be honest with you, I don't mind working with sliced fish. You know, sometimes I don't know, I find that I manipulate it better than a whole fish most of the times, right? And we also have here what is called pink trout. Some persons also refer to this as rainbow trout. So everything here is nicely washed, and another double wash, like a vinegar, and of course lots of lime or lemon to make sure that it is fresh. Please note that the pink trout, they say, is closely related to the salmon family. So it may look like salmon, but it's not. And it tastes a little bit differently as well. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to be currying this fish for you guys today. So I'm going to show you how I go about making my curried fish. Now, if you hear any singing going on, church, online church happening in the background there. All right, so I have a seasoning mix here. And in this seasoning mix, I have a number of ingredients. Now, persons would say to you that when you're preparing fish, you really don't need a lot of seasoning. And that's true, because the fish in itself, especially things like trout and things like salmon, they have this natural fishy taste that I think persons are looking for generally. But in this mix here, what I do have, I have some ground ginger, ground onion, ground paprika, ground pepper. I also have salt and what's it again? Oh, I have salt and a little bit of cayenne separate from the black pepper. And I also have literally a dash of Mrs. Dash lemon pepper seasoning. Okay, so I've mixed this all together so that all of the ingredients are incorporated. So every single piece of boom fish will get a nice helping serving of this. So I'm going to go ahead now and show you how I apply the seasoning to the fish. This is simple. Just want to brush it like this. This is quite simple. It's just a matter of sprinkling the seasoning, you know, all over the fish. I like my fish, as I said to you, to have a lot of flavor. I don't like dull and boring. So you're not gonna find me giving you anything at all to eat that is dull and boring, right? So all over. Now, there are some trouts that will come skinless. They're boneless, by the way. These are fillets, okay? They're boneless. This one has bone in it, but these are boneless, and it still has the skin on, and that's fine if the skin is on, because that too will have a lot of the flavor that you expect from the fish. So once that's done, just gonna turn it over. And I noticed that you might realize that today I'm handling this without a gloves, right? You must be saying, what could I cause this? Because y'all know I don't do that. Gloves have got to be a part of the act. I don't like to touch meat. Literally anything that I'm cooking, I don't like to touch it. All right. So do I actually have to rub this in on each piece? No, I don't. But that is something that you could actually do. If you want, you could just do this. Just to rub it in, you know, to make sure that all of the fish has it. Be very careful though, if you make the decision to rub on the fish like how I am doing it, be very careful, because you see these bones, they are sharp and they will pierce you. You cannot afford to get a fish bone tear in your flesh. Don't feel good, I'm told. I mean, fish bone juke me already, but to say go lodging in your flesh and you're gonna have to go to the doctor and all of that, you really don't want to be caught up in that kind of a situation. All right guys, so once this is done, I just place them in another bowl where they're gonna chill out a little bit. Now, the thing about fish too is that you have to move with a lot of alacrity. Big word Sunday. In other words, you have to move fast, right? Because fishes was one of them meat, they were very delicate, and you know, you have to think about the temperature, how long you have it out, you know, why is it not on ice, that kind of a thing. So you want to make sure, for sure, that when you're doing it, you move quickly. All right, so I have some other pieces, like I said. Here we go. These were drained. Sprinkle it. You can rub it in, as I had mentioned, if you'd like. Get even in this little section here, in the middle section. It's not a big deal. I do it on a cutting board too, because you notice what's happening when I turn the fish over, any seasoning that was there on the board, you know, it kind of soak it up too. So really and truly, nothing is being wasted. Again, just rub it in the side. We're talking about flavor. We don't have to overwork it. We don't have to overdo it, but we still want it to turn out real nice. 2 more pieces to go, guys. 2 more pieces. All right. One of the things I want to say to you is that everybody is a top chef. Everybody is a top cook, right? You know why? At the end of the day, as long as your meal tastes good, that's all that matters, you know. As long as your meal is not giving anybody indigestion, acid reflux, belly pain, them kind of things, you are a chef, right? As long as your meal brings joy to the hearts of those that you are preparing it for, you're a chef. And so I know there are persons who might be saying, so why should I prepare the meal and she doing it this way? Guess what? Everybody has their own technique too of cooking. There's no wrong and right method, so to speak, in terms of how you cook. Now, there are some techniques, of course, that would have proven very effective, you know, depending on how you want the outcome to turn out. But them think that when you have bad chef and you study at certain places, you know what I mean? But outside of that, everybody is a big top chef or a big top cook. Yes, people. So here I have it, my bowl of fish. And I'm just going to allow this to just sit maybe for 2-3 minutes just to soak up the seasoning, yes? All right, so I have a frying pan here on the stove. You might be wondering, why is this so small? Well, it's only a few pieces of fish that I'm going to be doing, so I don't need more than this. I have added some coconut oil to it, and I'm allowing this to heat up, after which I'm going to start off with a pink trout. I'll do that first. Why? It cooks very quickly, and I pretty much just want to get it out of the way. All right, so pink trout is now in the pot. Oil is hot and nice. I put it down skin side first. That side will sear off real nicely, and within another maybe 2 minutes tops, I'll be ready to turn this, because like I said, it cooks quickly. So the first side is already seared. You could see even on this first one here, point it to the direction, this one here, you notice that the skin has moved a little bit away from the edge of the fish. That's how you know it's cooking up. That's how you know it's ready. Okay, so like I said, this one cooks really quickly, so you can't afford to OD it, and this is why I'm doing it first, because when it is going to be hitting the curry sauce, I'm also going to be treating these before I do the other pieces. All right, so this fish is way more tender and cooks way quicker than all the others. I have taken out the trout, and I now have the snapper slices in the pot. Yes, and that's doing its thing. Let me show you quickly what the trout looks like. There we have it. This is the finished trout, you know, once it has been seared. As I said, you see this little white stuff that you see coming up? That is to show you that the meat is actually cooked. So this is why we have to handle this with care, because if you're not careful, this will come out like how you would have salmon in a tin, you know, or tuna in a tin, and that's not the aim. We want it to remain as a whole piece, or better yet, 2 whole pieces, right? So we're waiting for the curry sauce to be done, and I will do that once I'm through frying the snapper slices. All right, so the first 2 are done. This is what it looks like. I try to fry it as dry as possible, right? Because that's how I like it. Some persons would have probably gone a little bit lighter, but for me, this is how I love it. So these are the first 2. And I'm just waiting for the other 2 to be done. I won't show you the other 2 when they're done. I'll just move to the next step. So I have the saucepan going here, and I've added literally just a little bit of oil. And if you notice, I'm putting in the curry powder now. And I want that to not really burn, but just catch a little bit of color. So I mix this around in the oil, and this is nice and fragrant. Ooh, smells good already. Now, once I have done that, so that there's a little bit of color to the curry, I'm just gonna go in and add some water. That's what we want it to come into the fore. Just a bit of water. And I want to mix this around. Woo! Smells good. Nice rich color. Because what I want to do ideally is just to cook off the curry a little bit, right? I want to add some flavor to it, but most importantly, I just want the curry to cook a little bit. So you know, persons will tell you how curry run your belly. Well, my curry don't run belly, but yeah, this is what I want to do. Add a little bit more water. I'm gonna pop in my ginger, garlic. Everything that you saw me cut up here is what I want to put into this mix right now. Pimento berries. I definitely want to add in that good old Scotch bonnet pepper. Smells good, you see, guys? Oh my goodness, when I say smell good, I mean smell really good. YouTube, hello YouTube, but now work with me. I've been telling you guys that you need to come with a smell icon. I love curry, by the way. Everybody knows that, right? Love curry. I could eat curry every single day. So I can smell the garlic becoming very fragrant here as well. So I just want to mix this around. Allow all the flavors to come together, marry them, you know, for them to release here. Really nice. Alright, now I'm not going to use all my onions right now. Just a few pieces, few rings. And I'm going to put in just a handful of my carrots. So I want these to cook a little bit more. Yeah. I'm adding a little bit of dried thyme here too. And pretty much I'm just going to saute this. It's as simple as this, guys. Just going to saute this. Smells so good. See like a body now. Like a slap way. Alright, so I have the xanthan gum here, which I'm just going to mix this in. Just keep moving it around. It's like a gum, literally, that's what it's called, xanthan gum, right? More like a paste. So I'm gonna keep mixing this around until the sauce itself becomes thick. By the way, I do have my stove on high because I want this to go by really quickly. It's not a matter of springing water, it's just a matter of thickening up. If you look to the side already, you can see. Let me see if I can zoom in. You can see what's happening here. So you know the thickening process has started. Okay. Alright, so look at it. Getting very thick, right? The trick to the xanthan gum too is just to add a little bit at a time. You know, don't just put everything in there all at once. You want to do that slowly. So this is now ready for the fish. So I'm going to be placing, like I said, I would have done these two pieces. Oops! I would have done these pieces first, and guess what? One has broken. I'm gonna try and catch it back. Oh no! That's what I did not want to happen. Alright, so naturally, I have this in the curry goodness, and I'm just going to go ahead and scoop this up. I'm not going to move this around too much because just by putting it in this pot, look at what I caused. Turn on the stove a little bit. That's what I didn't want to happen. Didn't want for it to break. But you know what? The good thing is that, guess what? It is all going to be going down. So at the end of the day, even though this one here so kind of split, I'm going to feel a way about it, it's still going to taste good because it's all going down. Alright, so move it around in the sauce. Jaja. How could that have happened, huh? I think that's the question we'd all be asking. How could that have happened? So you see how this nice and look good? You can smell it, don't it? Can imagine what it's going to taste like, don't it? Yeah man, a girl can do her thing. So now we have our sliced snapper here, and I'm gonna do it just the same way, same treatment, right? So just to pop in some carrots. It's ready, you know. Trust me when I tell you this ready. Pop in our carrots. And some more onion rings. I'll have the sweet pepper. And I'm just gonna cover this literally for 2 minutes and we're done. 2 minutes. All right, guys, so I have plated the fish. Boom, boom, excitement. This smells so good. So here you have the pink trout, or the rainbow trout as it is called, in its own curried sauce. And of course we have some sliced snapper right here. So sit down in another little curry sauce. Yeah, it smells so good. No joke, not because I cook it, but I'm telling you the God Almighty truth that this is really good. So you know, some persons would want to serve this up with white rice, but I am going to go in and I'm gonna serve this with some pumpkin rice, which is coming up real soon. Oh God, not telling no lie, people. The thing shot. It's shot. So stay tuned because the pumpkin rice is coming up right after this.
It's vibing with Via, vibing with Via. Yeah, we vibing with Via.